Welcome to the Crossing Conversation. My name is Jay. This is,
Brian,
and I'm eating candy. It's a Tootsie Roll
why are you eating candy?
promoting our trunk or treat.
Mm.
That is happening. It was a bad idea. um, Tootsie Rolls, man. What's up with Tootsie Rolls? Like, a little much. Um, promoting trunk or treat. Oh, we are live. This coming Sunday night and Monday night, which is October 30th, which is Sunday night, October 31st, which is Monday night. We were having trunk or treat, a lot of candy. Brian, we're gonna have music.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have food.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have tractor rides.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna have bounce castle.
Are we gonna have more Tootsie Rolls so you can talk like that?
Finally, I'm done with it. Whoever made Tootsie Rolls, you know what? If I ever get captured, like I get kidnapped, this is what I'm gonna do. Tell us everything. I'm gonna eat a Tootsie Roll. I can't say nothing.
Why?
Please nobody kidnap me. I don't have time. But yeah, no, trunk or treat. We're gonna have candy and all this stuff, and we're also people are gonna decorate their trunks. You're gonna be able to walk through. People are gonna hand you their candy out of their trunks. The trunks are gonna be themed, and we'll also have a bounce castle, as we said, food, tractor ride. It's gonna be a lot of fun at our Indrio campus. Is that okay? It's not turning green. Is that all right?
It doesn't do that anymore.
It doesn't do that anymore. Gotcha. But I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we boosted it on Facebook. We have some events. If you want to go to our Facebook, you can also say you're coming, you're attending, or just show up. We'll be ready for you. Look, see, we may have a food truck there instead of having our volunteers provide the food. So we'll actually
What kind of food is it gonna be?
hot dogs and I think chips and drinks. So we're gonna keep it kind of simple, but
For the food truck?
yeah, like
The food truck is gonna have hot dogs.
yeah.
A food truck.
Yeah, there's actually a food truck called One Crafty Weenie. They're really good. They're in Vero Beach. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Really, they're good. You can
One
look 'em up
crafty weenie?
Yeah, you can look them up online.
Mm-mm.
We also want to thank you, Doritos. Doritos.
No. Mm-mm. Cutting it. Nope.
But yes, trunk or treat. It's gonna be fun. So we don't have Craig here tonight because he is going out of town. He's gonna be doing a wedding in Georgia. Is it Georgia? All right. You don't know?
Tennessee?
Tennessee.
I don't know.
Holla back at me, Tennessee.
Alabama?
Alabama?
Who knows?
Somewhere on the Bible Belt, somewhere over there. We're going to be. He couldn't be here tonight, so we're gonna have safe travels. He's leaving Wednesday, which if you're listening to this, it's actually today on the podcast that comes out. But right here for you, he's leaving tomorrow to go, and he's gonna be taking that flight and be coming back Sunday, just in time for trunk or treat on the 30th. So we'll have all that ready. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But on to tonight, we actually have an icebreaker game for you guys. I see some people here. Hello. We have some of our own people watching. Thank you so much. Brian and I talked about last time we were together. We talked about worship. We'll be talking about something a little bit different tonight, but something that we can both keep up with.
I have not been informed on what the topic is, but
Well, here's the thing. I'm also not informed about the game as much. So this is
true.
kind of a good thing. This is kind of one of these probably kind of gave me a little bit of what it's about. But so we're gonna start with our icebreaker game. So the icebreaker game is called, what is it called?
I'll introduce it since it's my game.
Okay, you go ahead.
So it's called Brian's Hot Takes.
Brian's hot.
So it's very simple. I'll give you a quick example. Basically, if I said that I prefer to live in the mountains instead of on the beach,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You either agree or
Okay.
you disagree.
Okay.
Either one, and then you just have to explain why you agree or why you disagree.
Those who are watching, this is so. If I'm going to disagree, either say Team Brian, type Team Brian in chat, or Team J. That means that you agree with Brian on the matter, or Team J, you agree with me on the matter. Now, if we both just kind of agree on the same thing, You can agree with something else. It's okay. Just make sure you type in chat so we can see it. So here we go. We're gonna start. So Brian's hot takes. We're gonna go to you, and we're gonna. What's the first hot take?
All right. So the first one is that dogs make better companions than cats.
Wow. Okay. The word companion. Okay. Okay. I dogs make better companions than cats. You're saying that because that little small dog that your mom has, right? What's the name of that dog?
Bella. That's my little girl.
It's my little girl. Put the camera on you while you say that.
That's my little girl. She is.
Better companions. It depends on what kind of. I guess. I don't see.
Basically, the take is that dogs are better than cats.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. I'm a dog guy. I like dogs. They're always there for you. You know, like it's like this one comedian said it's like a roommate that won't stop bugging you. Like, hey man, you want to go out? Want to go out? What do you want to eat? What are we eating? What are we eating? We're gonna eat some good. We're gonna eat some. Yeah, we're gonna eat. Are you doing good? Are you doing good? Like I feel like you're not doing good. Are you doing good? Cats are more like, what's up?
I guess for me, a dog's energy is gonna go based off of the person. So if the person is like that, then they'll be like that.
But
because my dog's not like that. My dog is like mad chill. She'll come lay on the bed with me.
Okay.
She'll cuddle everything. She doesn't do none of that. Only time she does that is when I get home.
Okay, so
or when I leave.
I would say companionship. It's not a matter. I can't say cats or dogs are better than either. I'd say dogs, just because they can protect. They're more willing to put their life on the line to protect you in a certain situation. So a companion would normally do that, as if cats would just be like, well, you fend for you. They'd watch you get stabbed. Go, you getting stabbed? Look at their little paws and put it on there. I like that one meme where like these guys start beating up this guy with, and then this cat's like just there, and then the cat starts kicking him with them. People would say dogs just because they're more loyal.
But you, not me, you.
I can't necessarily agree with that.
This is the man that owns.
Well, don't say it online. Don't say it on air now. We own quite a few cats just because
quite a few.
My cat is a wife rescuer. My wife is a cat rescuer. You know, my cat rescues wives. We got a lot of them in the house. Oh no, that's terrible. Okay, those of you online, what do you think? Dogs or cats? I'd have to say, just because of my life where I'm at, cats. They're just so dope. They're just amazing. They're like, hey, you want to chill? I'll chill. Then they just go do their own thing. I'm okay with that.
No, I have an instant fear of cats.
He does.
And anybody that's close to me knows that.
Yes.
Like, I won't even walk into a house until I know a cat is, like, at least 100 feet away from me.
And here's the thing. Like, he came over to our house one time. Literally, the kitten was about the size of my fist, if not a little bit bigger if I opened it up. And that thing just moved across the floor when I was like, ah!
Yeah, I jumped, for sure.
Jumped. It was a real jump. All right, what's the next hot take?
All right, next one is white chocolate is better than milk chocolate.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Can I tell you the reason why?
Why?
Because I feel like, okay, so my favorite white chocolate, by the way, is Crunch. Not Crunch. Yeah, Crunch white chocolate bar is the number one. Oh, what is?
The Hershey's cookies and cream, dog.
Hershey's cookies and cream. Oh no! You know what? That's kind of, yeah. But I like the crunch feel into it. I guess no. Maybe I'm thinking Hershey's. I am thinking
that's
Hershey's.
definitely what you're thinking.
Right. You're right. Cookies and cream Hershey's. The only reason why is because milk chocolate, especially by itself, it just gets mundane after a little bit. What is in white chocolate?
I don't know.
Like what's in it? What's different? Can anybody tell?
Somebody Google and tell us.
Can somebody? Companion, definitely dogs. Cats are okay too, but they really don't care unless they want to be cared about. Then that's what Sherilyn says. Yes. What about white chocolate? I mean, I feel like I will find myself go to the white chocolate. Then what about the white chocolate pretzels?
So look, those are literally the best snack, especially at night.
But but not the milk chocolate one. They're okay. But the white chocolate, what is it about the white chocolate?
What's in white chocolate, everybody? We need to
Is
know.
it powdered sugar? Is it something?
Or is it just vanilla? Like, is it just like the vanilla, like, like vanilla
But
flavor?
you're not tasting vanilla. I think you're thinking vanilla because of white. I think has another It's another sugar that makes it white. Or am I wrong? And tell us.
What if it's just a dye? What if it's just frozen milk?
That is the biggest troll of all time. If it just dyed it and we're like, it tastes different. Well, that cookies and cream though, Hershey's, that cookie, that little. Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna grab one of those.
We're going to 7-Eleven after this.
We'll be right back.
We're gonna leave y'all here.
Just empty chairs. But the cameras keep switching for some odd reason.
All right.
Okay, next Brian hot take.
All right, next one. Raisins are delicious. Raisins are delicious.
I will say this: raisins are better than prunes.
No. Raisins.
I'm getting to my point. I have to say that because it's just me. Raisins, as a kid, didn't want them. As a kid, I was like, "What are these? That's gross." Raisins, I can eat raisins, and they're fine. Do you like raisins?
I love raisins.
What about chocolate, like Raisinets? You ever had those with the chocolate Raisinets?
Yeah, I don't care for those, honestly.
Really? What about white chocolate Raisinets?
I've never had those.
You might like those.
Do they have those though?
Yes.
Are you sure?
This is America.
Where you seen them?
This is America.
That don't mean nothing.
Don't catch me slipping on.
Stop.
It's a rap song, everybody.
Oh, goodness.
Good Lord. Okay, so
are raisins delicious? Yes or no?
I'll say yes. I can eat raisins and be like, this is... The only thing is they always,
How many raisins can you eat?
That little box.
Just the little box that it comes in?
But here's the thing. After I eat the little box, I'm like, I want more. But then again, I don't. Because once I open up another little box, I'm like, I'm done. But when you get those big bags, like those raisins...
Okay, nobody's out here eating those big bags of raisins like that. There's no way.
You're right, but they do come. They are there for your taking. But yes, I do like raisins. I do like them, but I don't eat them a lot. But I do like them.
All right, so this next one's gonna be you're gonna take the other side for sure.
Okay, well let's see. I've come a long way. I feel like I've grown.
Basketball is better than football.
No.
Yes. Why?
Okay, listen. By the way, feel bad for the Lakers. They didn't get in.
Bumped them.
Yeah. So, also, Astros beat the New York Yankees. Sorry, Craig. It's okay. Astros and Phillies go to the World Series. Congratulations. Okay, so here's my thing: is that basketball is great. Okay, but I feel like somebody shooting it and somebody getting in your face, that's tough. I understand that. But throwing a football down a field, okay? I mean, these are my points. These are my 2 points, and then I'll let you, okay? Is that throwing a football down the field and catching away these guys do over about 50 yards, 60 yards, throwing it that far, catching it is remarkable. Also, the guys, the O-line, the defensive linemen, we don't talk about how many times, like, can you imagine seeing that guy the whole game in front of you and pushing him? That's a lot of work. Also, best sports slow motions is football. I mean, these guys are flying through the air, catching it, or just you got to admit, the replays are better with football. Come on.
I guess.
Unless somebody gets juked really hard in basketball, that's a good. Or like when it just swishes just right, like when Stephen Curry, like when they roll it off the fingers. But I'd say football with what needs to happen to get the ball to the other guy, and the slow motion, the replays. That's the reason why. You gotta give me yours.
I think football is the only sport that you don't have to be in shape for. Right or wrong?
Well, there's sumo wrestling.
Well, sure, but
there's wrestling in the Olympics. But you're talking about popular sports.
Yeah, I'm talking about like
I'd say yeah. You can't have like a guy who's a defensive lineman who eats you can't have him on the court at basketball because he'd run out of breath. I do understand that the physicality of what you have to be with basketball is way more intense.
But I think with basketball, you have to have more skill. As far like the only skilled players that I really see on the football field are the wide receivers and the quarterbacks
And the running back is.
and running backs. But that's
I
literally
will
it.
say there is more skill on making that ball fit in that little basket. Not only that, the passing, the plays that I think so. A football team will go, okay, here's our play, and sometimes they audible, and sometimes it's unique, and they go, you know what, I can't pass to him, so I'm going to pass to him. Basketball's, I believe, 100% organic the whole time. Like nobody says, "Hey, I'm going to lay it up to you." They don't have time to even huddle. They go, "All right, I'm going to pass the ball." All we know is you got to get it down court, but then they get in position. That's like on the fly thinking. I do agree with you there. That is true. But as for me, I the better sport, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Football. I love it too much.
I think everybody in the chat will say football,
But here's the thing. But basketball, the only reason again is, I believe, the way they play out the fighting for a line is somewhat satisfying in the brain of getting past it. That I think that has something to do with it too.
See, here's the reason. The other reason is like I think it's easier to make it pro in the NFL than it is in the NBA.
Well, there's a lot more spaces. Yeah, I mean, because you don't have like for basketball, let's say point guard breaks his ankle, who comes in?
Either the point guard or the shooting guard.
Right. There's a what is it, second string? That's what they call?
Yeah, but on a professional NBA team, you can only have on any basketball team, no matter what league, you can only have 15 people on the team itself. Only 15.
Okay.
And then you can maybe have like some reserves that play like in the G League.
Okay.
But as far as like, yeah.
Okay. So
how many people are on a football team?
yeah, you ever see those guys in the sideline of the football team? Like, there's tons.
It's like a whole entire like family tree.
But I will say this: you may be able to make it into an NFL team, but you're not going to get paid what those other guys are. The only thing is you are traveling with the team, but more likely for you to play. Actually, statistically, they're on. You're right. If they can make the pro team, and you're actually correct, that is easier to make it. But in order to play in the team is tough.
Each person has like freaking like 5 people behind them.
Yeah. Well, the depth chart only shows you 3, but yeah, there's more than that. Okay. Next hot take. This is great. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying that. I'm actually enjoying this.
All right. Here's the next hot take.
Okay. Oh God.
It's better to take a shower in the morning than at night.
What are you saying? Better? Like it's okay. It's just better altogether.
Yeah.
It's better to take it in the morning than at night.
Yeah. Let me tell you my reasoning first.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been telling you mine.
So my reasoning first.
Okay.
Is that for me? I used to be a morning person. Now I'm not.
Okay.
And I think it helps me wake up.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps me wake up. It just
burning hot.
It's burning hot. It just alerts all my senses.
Okay.
In the morning.
Have you ever had a cup of coffee while you're in the shower?
No. Have you ever eaten food on the toilet?
No.
I have.
Now the whole world knows.
It was only cereal, guys.
That's even worse. It's soggy and wet. Gosh, tell me a granola bar or something. Good Lord. It was just cereal. Ew. I can't.
This is going to be the title for
you should
to click.
Eating food on the toilet. Okay, so I would say the shower, I prefer it at night. And here's mine. Here's my reasoning. Is in the morning it does wake me up, but I more so like to drink some caffeine, and that wakes me up. It's go ahead. Okay, so I when showers in the morning, I feel a little bit annoying because I'm like, now I got to dry myself off. I just want to be on my way to work already. Me, like, I feel like I want to take time to like, okay, dry myself. In the morning, I'm just like, well, I got to dry myself off, and then I'm gonna pick what I want to wear and yada yada. But I feel like nighttime, I also like getting into bed when it's like cool in the room. You just took a hot shower and there's clean sheets and or whatever kind of sheet. You just get into bed.
I feel like it also depends on the job that
Okay.
you have as well.
Okay.
Like if you're out sweating all day, then yeah, take a shower, dude, when you get home.
Sure.
But if you're sitting at a desk all day in the AC,
Okay.
then
Okay. So that kind of.
but also to me it's like as soon as I get home, especially if it's like especially if it's like after 9, like I'm going to bed. Like there's no if ands or buts about it.
So okay. So I would say it depends on your job, but for me, it would be nighttime showers.
Okay.
Okay. So next hot take. Okay.
All right. Let me just ask you this question.
Okay.
Have you ever had any other kind of crust?
Is the camera on you?
Have you ever had any other kind of crust than like the regular crust that comes on pizza?
Yeah, of course.
What other crust have you had other than like
Oh,
cheesy crust?
No, no. Yeah, there's been, I mean, peppered crust. There's been garlic crust. There's
Mhm.
been garlic bread crust.
Okay.
Yeah, cheesy bread
Okay.
crust. Over at Hungry Howie's, you can like.
There is no more of that.
There is no more of that, is it? But they used to have like where you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, barbecue crust. That's good.
Okay. So here's the thing. Cauliflower crust is way better than regular crust.
Are you talking about gluten free?
Pretty much.
That's what it is. Gluten free is cauliflower.
Yeah.
Are you talking about for crispy pizza? Are you talking just for pizza? Because
I'm talking
cauliflower,
yeah.
cauliflower has to be thin. It's not because it won't rise as well.
It does rise though. If you go to,
But
it depends on how you cook it. I think.
But it won't because it's actually not real bread.
True.
So it will rise, but only to a certain amount. I like my bread thick. So no, I'd have to go. I'm a gluten guy.
I don't think I eat pizza nowadays without it.
So you get the cauliflower
like
bread.
I go to like when I go, I think it's at like Mod's Pizza,
Mod's Pizza's
and
good.
what's the other one? I think it's Blaze something.
I will tell you that I still choose not cauliflower, but I know why you like cauliflower because the consistency of it is really good, especially if it's crispy.
Yeah,
like a thin. You get cauliflower, yeah, crust.
and you
all
get
the way
buffalo,
around.
peas, and chicken.
Yeah, and also it's actually better for you. So I mean, but I have to choose regular crust.
All right, this is the last one.
Okay.
Bananas
Oh gosh.
are the worst fruit ever.
I don't know. I'm not a big banana eater. I'm not. But I'll choose other fruits that say they're worse, more that I like.
No, bananas are the worst fruit. Bananas are horrible. Disgusting.
So you don't like banana bread?
No.
You don't like the taste of it. You don't even like
No.
the. Okay. Me too, by the way. Banana bread's okay, but like I'm not crazy about bananas. But here's an annoying one. Is there's other ones that I don't like, which is raspberries. Have you had raspberries raw, like a raspberry raw?
A raw raspberry?
Yes.
They have raw raspberries?
Yeah, it's just like right out. You just get the raspberries, just like strawberries, but
What makes it raw?
it's just straight up picked, put in there, and they're in a little container. You just eat them like blueberries. They're the size of blueberries, but a little bigger.
Bo, have you ever had yogurt covered blueberries?
Yes. Don't they do those at the movie theaters?
No.
No. No, that's something else. But
you
I've
can
had
buy
those.
like big bags. Like you can't buy them in the store, but you can buy them in
They're
like
really
big
good.
bags online.
I will say that I'm not a big fan of banana, but no, there's other worse fruits.
Okay.
I will say, because like, have you had a fruit that I don't know, like star? Well, people like star fruit, I guess.
I'm just saying, bananas are the worst fruit ever.
Okay. I disagree because I don't like bananas, but I feel like there's a worse one.
I don't like the texture. I don't like the taste. The taste is bland. It's not juicy.
It's almost like It's like a weird.
Yeah, it gets stuck in your
You got these
tongue.
got those
I
little
don't get it.
laces on there. Like when
Mm.
if you peel it wrong, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Peel a banana wrong and somebody will like crucify you.
That's me. That's me. I will. I'm like, you're peeling it wrong. I'll be like, like.
I've seen
Yeah.
somebody just like peel the banana off and just eat it straight out the middle. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
no, no.
People are weird.
I've seen one person like online bite the whole banana in the skin and eat the skin. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's
Disgusting.
nasty.
Anyways, okay, that was Brian's hot takes, everybody. I think that's really great.
No applause.
No applause. I'll give him a hot take real fast.
All right.
What's your 2 favorite streaming services?
My 2 favorite streaming services.
Yes.
This is actually one I was gonna do, but I didn't put it on here.
Okay.
My 2 favorite streaming services.
Your 2
like
favorite
right now.
right now.
All right.
Streaming services, yeah, for TV and or movies.
So, I think right now it'll have to be because my favorite shows
Okay.
are on these platforms.
Mm-hmm.
HBO Max
Okay.
because of The Big Bang Theory,
Of course.
and then and Cartoon Network is on there too.
Oh, that's right. They are.
And everything DC. And then
Which Superman's back in Black Adam, by the way.
yeah, I know.
HBO Max and
Peacock because of The Office, and I can watch the deleted scenes.
somebody said to you, you have to choose between those 2. You cannot watch. You have to delete the other one, never watch it again. Which one would you choose?
HBO
You're a-
Max.
Really? I was gonna say you're a Peacock guy.
Yeah, I would delete HBO Max.
You delete HBO Max
Yeah.
and go Peacock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because The Office is on there, Parks and Rec is on there. There's live TV on there. What?
Oh, yeah, that's
Come on,
true.
bro.
That's true. Well, anyways, everybody, this is a Christian podcast. We promise.
We promise.
We promise. No, but we, it's been a crazy time. We know that Halloween is upon us and different things, and we said
Halloween.
our trunk or treat and different things. And we talked about music last time, which was really good for us because we're both musicians. We both really like different types of music and different things. But just to end, because we did this what's it called, the Your Extraordinary Mind. We're basically done with that now for this series, and we're getting ready for our next series. So tonight we're actually just going to talk about something very easily, and it's just church as a whole. So basically, when we have church, because Brian has grown up in church, and so have I. And there is this, we are the kind of guys that you might find behind the scenes if you don't see me in front of the scenes or him.
Mm-hmm.
We could easily fit behind the scenes saying, okay, we know this is supposed to happen, this is supposed to happen, and this is supposed to happen. Now, we know everything is not presentation. It's not because, the Lord wants us to have a big projector. It's not even just that. It's that there is something that is satisfying that in ministry, the reason why a lot of people have these light teams, the tech teams, is this actually gives people who have that passion to do something in ministry for the Lord. Actually, it's actually quite fulfilling for them. And that's something that you do a lot of times. There's a motorcycle outside. Like, it's all right, guys. I'm in a motorcycle gang, so it's fine. But so like you work with our lights and our different cues and stuff. Here's the thing. Obviously, lighting, you want to make sure we see our pastor while he's talking. But because we're gonna talk about different ministries within just church on a Sunday, like in the live service. Why is the lighting and the presentation so important?
I don't really think it's important.
Okay.
Because if you look at it's almost like nowadays we're traveling like back in time when it comes to like how we're doing everything. Because if you look at this worship band named Maverick City,
Right.
they literally just nowadays there's no lights. They
Right.
literally just hover around.
Right. It's the boys outside on the
It's
motorcycle.
a whole ATV.
You guys hear that online? You guys hear
and it's a truck.
Anyways, Maverick City.
Anyway, so Maverick City, they just put all the instruments and the singers in the middle, and then they just have people just stand around them, and that's how they do worship.
Right.
So, but if I don't really think it's that important. I think it's just
What if it's important to
I think
somebody?
it just draws it's another way to draw people to the service. Because
Well,
when people see, I think when people see that they have like you have the big flashing light, you have a nice projector, you have good sound, it draws people like good quality things,
right,
you know. So I think that's just another way, especially younger people.
right,
Like younger people are attracted to the way things look,
right.
so they're gonna go to where the best looking. That
Venue is.
yeah, that's how I see it.
That's true. And when I say the importance is because you'll have people in ministry that go, well, I'm not good at playing an instrument, but I'm good at like hearing sound or like for sound mixing, or I'm good at like I like presentation with there are people who love making presentations. I mean, there is just that. And they're like, I'm good at like organizing presentations or doing kind of things. And but all that to say is that when you went back to Jesus, so when we talked about Jesus feeding the 5,000,
Hmm.
I mentioned something in church about how he didn't have a microphone. He had to stand in the highest place where he was at. But even then, people couldn't hear him, so people had to reiterate behind them what he was saying. What did he say there? He is speaking increments, pretty much, and that's what was pretty much told, throughout history. But and the thing is they kind of one after the other. So when the church was, because the church was the first kind of organization. Oh wait, hang on. See if the clip is out. I don't know if this is news. Hello? Hey. No, we're still on it. It's okay. We're live. What is it? Oh, it's not the news yet. Okay. Okay. Whew. Okay. Love you. No, you're good. That now that you can keep that online because we're expecting news. Um, so Courtney and I are pregnant. Yes.
Are you allowed to say that?
I think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You sure you didn't just get in trouble?
We're telling people. Yeah.
You're telling people, but you're supposed to tell the world.
It's okay. Yeah, because we're gonna make an official announcement this next week on Facebook. But close of our friends know this is Anyways, yes. So we're finding out if it's a boy or a girl through a blood test tonight.
You're not gonna be one of those weird people who do gender reveals.
She wants to, but she just wants to do it this way. So, anyways, so we're very excited. That's very amazing. So, in that time of Jesus, so I feel like when the church started, this is the first kind of not corporation, but kind of like it drew people together for big. The only time that people were brought together was because there was an announcement from the king or the kingdom or whatever the person was who was in charge. People would gather to hear the announcement and then they would leave.
Mhm.
Okay. And church was the next organization, Peter and making the church, and it would come and people would gather together to hear about the disciples who were with Jesus.
Mhm.
And of course, this is after the Holy Spirit came in tongues of fire. Yeah. So the church was being built. So a lot of people were like, well, we can't hear you. There's a lot of people, and not many people are going to be echoing. So they're like, well, how are we going to? So they spoke in these cones, maybe. They spoke in cones saying, are we loud enough now? Throughout the ages, people were like, well, let's make it to where people can hear the word and basically define the word for themselves, but in a way that's comfortable. Because obviously nowadays we're not going on top of a mountain speaking and saying, oh, well, this is how we're going to preach, which is great, but it's in a church, which is the microphones come in.
Mhm.
Stage, you want to make sure, okay, it's a nice room with a good temperature, or okay, then the lights come in. Oh, you got to have, the lights are pretty good, but you're right. To a point, it doesn't matter just as long as people can hear and or see the word being brought.
Mhm.
And that was kind of the point of church, and I think it's great. It's great to be to have these things, but your point being that's basically what we're going to come down to. Not that it's not important, but that what, if we didn't have anything, we'd still worship God. We'd still be there. But I feel like certain things were done because of somebody hearing the word and or seeing the word better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think so for somebody like, let's say somebody came to you and said, I really want to help out in this area, because I feel like I'm really good at it. How do you encourage somebody? Because it is important, And we have actually one of our people right now saying, hello, and she does it. But the importance of why we have the lighting and why we have certain things. Of course, we want people to look and be like, woohoo. But we also want it to be, well, how would you say to that person, hey, this is where you fit in, but here's how we glorify God with it?
Ooh. Um.
It's a crazy question, but I'm just asking, picking your brain.
So how do you glorify God while doing that? So there's this video director. He was the video director for Bethel, and he has this motto that he calls it's worship first,
Right.
direct second. So I think going off of that, I think you just have to remember that no matter what you're doing, like even if even if you're like a maintenance man,
Right.
or if you're even just an usher, lighting tech, musician, worship leader, pastor, whatever, you're all still glorifying the same way,
Right.
because you're just giving back. So I see it as a chance of I see it as just my way of giving
Right.
to the Lord.
Right.
I see it. You're still glorifying God because you're still giving Him your time.
Right.
So because that's really all God wants is your time.
Right.
Like, then so if you're giving your time, like during the week, like you're coming to rehearsals to put in the songs or whatever, or do a sound check with the band, or even just coming and straightening the chairs, that's you serving the Lord.
Right.
So you're giving your time and you're serving the Lord.
Right.
And that's how you glorify God, through that.
Right.
In volunteering there. Like, it's not about, like, you can mess up a lighting cue, you can forget to click the right video, you forget to unmute something, you can forget to plug in something, you can miss a wrong note, sing the wrong lyric. But at the end of the day, God's not looking at that because He knows you're not perfect. Right? So I think it all just comes back. It all comes back to just giving your time to the Lord.
Right.
Really, and just serving Him.
Right.
Because that's all that's all it is. That's all it is in church, is you're serving the Lord. When you're a volunteer at your church, or even if you work at a church, like if you're on payroll or whatever, you're still serving the Lord because you're doing the Lord's work.
Right.
So you're still touching somebody's life. So if you're running the lights, people some people are touched by that. That might how they got them to church, is they saw the lights and they're like, oh, that's cool, here I come. Or they heard a good sound mix, they're like, oh, I want to know what it sounds like in person, so they come in person, right? So it's just another way. It's almost like another outreach to bring people
more avenues.
Yeah. So and that's why I think also, like, social media plays a big role in the church community now, because it's such a big way to impact people all the way in India, or wherever, all across the world.
Right.
So, but no, it's just all about, it's just really, you just have to remember that you're not gonna do everything perfect, especially not you still, even if you perfect, or get really good at what you're doing, you're not gonna be perfect.
Right. And I think that's a good point. So it brings different avenues for people who want to help, that say, I don't fit here. Church says, hey, guess what? We have so many places for you to fit, to the point where it's kind of impossible to say, nah, I guess I don't fit anywhere. Literally, there is always a place for you to fit. And I think that's what happened throughout time. It's like people, they served meals at the disciples were speaking, or wherever they were speaking at. They were like, well, you know what? We need food. And then some guys or some ladies like, hey, we can help serve it. It's serving. It's serving the Lord. And which is really important, which is, and Sherlyn said, it's a part of ministry and praise to help the entire kingdom. That it does. It takes a whole people to do that. And I think that's what kind of the beauty of it is. I know it can get frustrating, especially the more tech you have, the more different things, the more, which is great. We don't want to be flashy or anything. That's not the reason why. It's just because we want good presentation, good stuff. But it is true. But the thing is it requires people to serve. And I think that's just really what it's all about. Also, so, and I know we only have like 15 minutes left, but last but not least, with church, there has to be some sort of, because everything is with senses,
Mm-hmm.
light, our vision, touch, everything. I believe that the aspect of God is to us to be touched in every single area of our senses, meaning that music, that if music hits a certain way, the power of music will bring you to that point,
Yeah.
which is why worship is so awesome and praise, whatever, people call it. But then you dim the lights and the senses have things to do, not to manipulate people. Not we're going to turn the lights down, everybody's going to worship. No, but just meaning that the senses have everything to do with intimacy with the Lord. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, can I have intimacy with the Lord while a disco ball is going, while a 70s song is playing, Friday night, some sort of disco song? Sure. But the atmosphere is what you make it. And I think it's not has to do and everything with lights and sound and all that, but that our senses have a lot to do with it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I could see that because mainly, hold on, I gotta gather my thoughts.
That's all right. Gather it up. You gonna sneeze?
No.
Okay.
By the way, if you ever have to sneeze, just start thinking about rabbits. You won't sneeze.
What?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah. One of my friends told me that she randomly did it too. Like I was just about to sneeze and she was like, think about rabbits, and I literally in that moment I was like, why am I thinking about rabbits? And then I started to think about rabbits, and then I didn't sneeze.
Could you do that with anything though? Could you don't think about automobiles?
I'm pretty sure like you just tell them to think about whatever.
If you think about a
It's
rabbit.
taking your mind off of it.
Can I be honest? If I think about a rabbit, I'm gonna think about hair. I'm gonna think of hair touching my nose, and I'm gonna sneeze.
No, you won't.
Okay, well I'll try that next time. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna start thinking about hair and think about my
That's
nose.
where my mind goes. I'm like, I might get a bigger sneeze if I think about rabbits. What about what's hairless? A Sphinx cat? I'll think about a Sphinx cat because there's no hair on that thing.
What was your question?
It was the senses. Do you believe that the senses have things to do with, not worshiping God, but to, change, not to even change a person's perception, but that it helps?
Let me ask you this question then.
All right.
So, say that you are a brand new Christian, right? Well, maybe let's say like you're like a year in to worshiping, like
Okay.
a year into like coming to church, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're finally getting the courage to worship right in front of people, because a lot of people don't, they don't come to church and they immediately get into worship or
Sure.
whatever,
Sure.
right? So, imagine if the lights are fully on you.
Okay.
Are you lifting your hands?
No.
Okay. If the lights are off, are you lifting your hands?
More likely.
More than likely, right? So I think it all depends because, like you said, with senses, if the lights are off, I'm more than likely to worship however I want, right? Dance, jump up and down, raise my hands, sleep.
The lights go off, I'm sleeping.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially during the sermon. When Pastor Craig preaches, catch me on the front row.
Oh my!
Asleep. Knocked out.
You hear that? I hope he's watching right now. That's amazing.
No, I'm kidding.
He's just kidding.
About
But you're
50%.
right. It is with it. It is maybe it's and it, and not that it has anything to do with somebody meeting God more or anything, but I think it's basically the complementing the sense or the atmosphere of what is about to happen.
Creating that it's creating that intimate moment
Right.
between you and God.
And I think it's the same way of like, if I wanted to go on a nice date with Courtney somewhere, it's always, the music is very nice. It's not hardcore music playing in the background, like it's like, oh honey, let's go to Olive Garden.
Oh my gosh! So I went to this ramen place, and I'm telling you, it was me and like a couple of my friends, and the music was like here, like loud. I'm talking about like, and it was like Japanese EDM music. So it's just like it's just like dance music just playing in the background, and it's like loud. I'm talking about to the point where like
You
I'm yelling at
you
the
can't
person.
talk.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can't talk. Like it's so distracting.
and it changed the atmosphere of the place.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And
And that's what and that's what like and that's what good like imagine if you go to a church, right, and the microphone's constantly feeding back, the keyboard player's constantly playing off key, or the
Yeah.
drummer's off time or something. Like that's gonna, to me, that's gonna throw me off. Like I'm gonna be more focused on that than
and
on
even if you're a musician or not, it's disturbing.
it's very disturbing.
That's why they use it in movies. They use like those diminished notes whenever a little walk on the keys of like whenever something's like ah. But also, you know who does it right, and you know they use this. And I'm not talking about church, but Disney, dude. Disney. Do you know that they have? You can see this on YouTube. They pump. They have the speakers outside for happy, cheery music all the time.
Yep.
Okay. Now, not as everybody's always happy and cheery, but it gives you that sense of wow. And then,
You go ahead.
and then you know what I'm going to say next.
Yep.
They have those little. They're in the like the floor, but also they have these fans that are pumping. What is that?
Like little popcorn smells, or like
Popcorn
Churro smells.
Yes.
Bro, what makes them go, hey guys, here's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make sure that we can spray the smell of popcorn out so people will buy popcorn.
That's it.
It's genius.
Genius.
It's genius,
If
but
you-
why?
If you read, so I guess they actually tested it out. So Disneyland, I believe, or maybe it's Disney World, they're saying that they wanted people to go inside the restaurants more and different things. So what they would do was let's try this out. And they do it in certain areas, and those areas were actually more impacted to eat because of the smells. Now, not only that, but their rides. Imagine if you saw a ride and it was completely everything was on. Like that's you see the animatronic, you see the little
Or if you go on a fashion, like if you go on like the King Kong roller coaster and it's literally just the bus and then just like a little projector screen,
that's it.
like that's
Yeah.
the whole.
It adds and gives to the experience because whether we like it or not, our senses matter. And I think for other people are like why do you have all this fancy stuff? You don't need this. It's like basically it's to complement and or help people with their senses for what's going to happen within praise and worship, and or it's just complimenting for people to have a good time where they're at. Like, so we're not playing hardcore music that's worldly inside Christian. It's always like a nice little, okay, we want you to feel calm. We want you to make sure that everything's okay, because if we were playing some rotten music or something that was happening, then people are going to go, I don't want to be here. It's just the way the senses are. So we want to make sure that people feel comfortable in the house of the Lord where they're at, but also people then, because even Christ Fellowship does, more people are skeptical. You know what? I want to figure out more of who I am because it's a safe place. I think people do mostly the stuff for sense and stuff for safe place. Now, I know for us specifically, we don't do things because we want to be fancy or have great presentation. It's because we want to make sure people feel comfortable, and we want to make sure people first and foremost feel loved, but with their senses, and that's important, especially with music. I mean, it's like you said, off notes. That's why that's why we have
Technical difficulties happen. Like they're gonna be shown. They're gonna be noticeable. But you can't let it, like, when you attend church, you can't expect everything to be perfect. Things are gonna happen. Like, it's tough for me, especially wearing two different hats. Being a music director and creative director, you have to worry about the music sounding good, and you have to worry about how everything else is sounding and looking as well. But at the end of the day, like I think I said this on the last podcast, you just have to just give it all to God, and like God is gonna it's gonna work regardless.
Right.
And just I think when it comes to like you're talking about like your senses, you can't let like I still think like even with your senses, you still can't let like the light flickering in the corner bother you.
things like that.
You know what I mean? Like you can't let things like that. Like I can understand if like if like the microphone is too loud, like that'll throw me off.
Right.
But if it's if it's I still don't think that should like ruin your senses
Right,
when
and you
it comes
shouldn't.
to.
That's the thing. I think it's on us as the church also not to be so picky with our senses. See, then people come to church because it's complimented, but now people are like, well, this little thing was out of place. Now, this is where it goes hand in hand, saying, listen, the church tries to, um, you know, compliment or make people to feel comfortable in this, but now it's up to the church, as myself as a church member, speaking to myself,
Hmm.
to be like, you know what, not everything is perfect, but at least people are trying, and they're trying their hardest. And one person said to me, they're like, well, there's people over in India or Africa that don't have anything. They're singing off key and they're still having church. They're trying, which is great. Well, that's what they do. But if you have people that are volunteering, that are serving the Lord at your church who have those gifts and abilities, well, you're going to say, listen, use your gifts and talents and abilities to the best of your ability.
Hmm.
So that's all. That's all it is. Now if we had somebody who was off singing, that's the only person we had, then okay, we're still going to have church. But that's why it's a responsibility of everybody, a church member and somebody who's singing on the stage or whatever, to say, I'm going to do the best of my ability. And I think it goes back onto the church people saying, you know what, as a person who attends this and believes in the vision of this church, I want to do the best of my ability to now, become more part of the body, to say, what can I do to help? And that's the give and take. All this is basically what we're coming to tonight, is the give and take of church really is about, hey, that guy's serving. How can I serve and do the best of my ability and fit in? Right?
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you think that I don't want to say, so do you think that bigger churches are do you think the reason that bigger churches are more popular because of the fancy technology that they have and the just the better overall experience, and that like a smaller church that's in like a storefront can't even get maybe 10 people in their church because the church down the street has like millions of dollars worth of technology equipment?
Right.
Do you think that do you think people tend to gravitate more towards that because of like tend to gravitate more towards church because of that, like you said, because of like senses or whatever, or do you think it's just
That's a good question. Within 3 minutes left, that's a really good question. It's a loaded one. I like it. It's true. Church is becoming so saturated right now because there's a church everywhere. But I think to answer it so in phases is that I do believe that some people, like Christ Fellowship, it's a great church, and the thing is they have everything down pat. I mean, especially to complement people's senses.
mm-hmm,
But the thing is one thing that, and actually, I think believe Pastor Todd from Christ Fellowship, the main pastor, actually said to Craig, "Thank you. What you're doing in your ministry matters, because we're doing things that maybe they're not able to do within ministry, whether that be outreach or different things that they're
mm-hmm,
doing." So as a little church, it all depends. So if I was going to go to Christ Fellowship, it would, yeah, great music, great different things. But I think I would go because of where I can fit in. Now, Christ Fellowship has a lot of places, right? But it all goes to where God is calling you. And I think that, let's say a great musician comes to us, right?
mm-hmm,
Better than you and me. Like,
yep,
he's phenomenal or she's phenomenal.
mm-hmm,
But she says, I could have gone to Christ Fellowship, but I come here because the Lord's called me here.
yeah,
So I think it all goes based on and also what people feel comfortable with. Maybe it's a new church goer. Maybe they're like, I feel like I don't want to be noticed a lot, so this is nice. A big church kind of feels like I can just kind of like just sit in here, nobody knows. I can just kind of go.
or do you think people or do you think people go to what is portrayed online? So you know how like when there's a latest trend, or there's something, if these new shoes come out, like everybody's got to go get them, everybody's got to have them,
Right.
right? Do you think people, when they see these big churches like Elevation and Bethel and all that, and they see those big churches like that, do you think they want to go and be a part of that just because they see it online? Because I've known people that have done that. They only go to that church because of the name,
Right.
because of the following behind it.
Sure.
So I think it's just I think some people just go to the church because they see on social media like, oh, that's how church is, so this is it.
Right.
You know, because I think nowadays it's, especially with technology, technology is reshaping how church is, because
Sure.
everybody's trying to get an LED screen, everybody's trying to get the best sound equipment,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's trying to have the best musicians,
Sure.
right? I know musicians that play at 4 different churches on a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
just because everybody wants the best musicians. And in order to get the best musicians, those musicians have to almost, instead of having a regular job, I mean, it's a dream, you know, to play at multiple, be, you know, a traveling musician, but
Sure.
it's hard, you
Yeah.
know, when you have to play at 4 different churches, you know, because you have to learn 4 times the songs,
Right.
you know. But I think it can, to me, it just looks overwhelming when you have to try to be like these other churches just to get people to come to your church.
Honestly, it's more admirable to, and here's the thing, I guess it comes down to the heart of the person. If somebody's attending my church just because it's flashy, then normally that person might phase himself out or maybe not even stick long enough. I want somebody to come to our church because each church has a different kind of vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'd wanted to say, listen, I believe in the vision of what you guys are doing, and God's called me here. Honestly, and then it's admirable when somebody has like a plot, they have like a little church, and they only have like a one projector that's not even, it's broken. You have to see a line through it.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody goes, I feel called here. That means more than just saying, and there's tons of people that go to Christ Fellowship saying, I've called here. I've been here and this is great. And
Yeah.
that I'm telling you, even Pastor Todd would tell you. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't mind. That means more than to, and that's probably something that big churches struggle with is how do you connect them with people saying, I come here not just because of this, or this, because it's complimenting the person who comes because they love them.
Yeah.
But now you want to be like, but this is why Pastor Todd or any other people say, we want you to be here because God's called you here and to realize the vision of the church. And this is what it is, and that's why churches have like, these, you're a visitor, but now you're a volunteer. They have those step studies and different, because it's like, it's basically not just to get you in, lock you into a contract, but it's basically say, this is our vision. This is what we do. So I think in a short answer is, where is God called to people? And those people, like if I was just called to somewhere because it's flashy, probably won't stay too long because I'll be like, all right, this is boring now. But if it's part of their heart saying God's called me here,
Mm-hmm.
that person's more likely going to stay. But we actually ran out of time, guys. Great question. That was really good. We're going to have Brian in here instead of Craig. You'll still hear Brian. He'll be on the podcast in the other mic. But we're going to pray for Craig to have a safe trip. Also, trunk or treat this week, October 30th and 31st. Trunks and stuff. We're going to have, again, hay rides and bounce castles, food. And
Oh, I forgot to put that in the ad that we're going to have hay rides.
sorry, you can always put that in. Oh, no, you can't.
Oops.
Anyways, all right, guys. But until next time, my name is Brian. No, it's not.
My name is Jay.
And no, my name is Jay, and this is
Brian.
And we'll see you guys next time on the Crossing Conversation.